So it's a chilly afternoon in Queenstown, and I'm having a wander around their botanical gardens, looking at some giant trees. And I always get a kick out of seeing eucalyptus in other countries. I'm Australian, obviously, and when I see gum trees, I can't help but feel a little patriotic. But those snow-capped mountains in the background make for a pretty exotic backdrop for this kind of tree. Now, this could be Eucalyptus regnans, which is actually the largest flowering plant in the world. And these are the always beautiful Douglas firs, Pseudotsuga menziesii, absolute giants. And these are what's sort of the dominant canopy species planted here at the Botanical Gardens. There's quite a lot of really large specimens. And comparatively small pine cones for such a large tree species. It's a pretty good stand of them here, just planted in a little row. Most of them are sort of scattered around throughout the landscape, but it's nice to see these giants all together. And this is another true giant. This is your Sequoiadendron giganteum. Absolute huge tree from the west coast of USA. And while not the tallest tree species, that goes to Sequoia supervirens, also from California, these guys are the biggest by volume, biggest by weight and girth. Arguably the largest plant on Earth. And just checking out this foliage. And again, a lot of these really massive pine trees have really comparatively small pine cones. I often find that quite interesting with these giant trees. This little pond here is almost completely frozen over, at least this half is. And these mallard ducks, they're having a great time. They do not care about the cold at all. They're just wishing they could get closer to the bank where the reeds are. And here's a silver birch. You know, birch from Minecraft. Yeah, they really do look like this. Just a beautiful tree. And here we are with the monkey puzzle. I love araucarias. We've got a couple in Australia and I talk about them a lot. But this is one from South America. And it gets its name because of its really brutal looking foliage to stop monkeys climbing up it. But that's actually an adaptation that it's evolved alongside sauropod dinosaurs. A lot of large herbivores from the late Cretaceous would feed on the seed pods of similar plants like this. And so these giant araucarias have developed really gnarly anti-herbivory spines on their leaves. This is only a little baby one, but I could get up close. Check out this giant. He's much bigger and much older. I'd assume he's probably been planted in the gardens for quite a few decades. Snowy mountains in the background. I never get sick of that. Finally got my hands on a sort of dried chunk of the foliage here. See how prickly and sharp it is. If you're a monkey, you wouldn't want to climb it. I have to finish up, of course, with a native from New Zealand. This is the kauri pine, Agathis australis. And while it's not the tallest, it's the biggest by volume tree in New Zealand. It's a relative of the araucarias in the Araucariaceae family, another Gondwanan giant.